as we bring in Jason Gregor from TSN 1260 Edmonton. You love these polls and things, Gregor. Who's your favorite character from Slapshot?
Trade me right now. No, that's probably my favorite one, Rod. I say that because if you see behind me, you'll see old Denny right there signed. So that's got to be my favorite guy right there.
You've got a reason. Yeah, you've got a reason. Yeah, I like Denny, too. I'm a Goldie guy, too.
Yeah.
Hey.
I apologize for swearing, Rod. I apologize.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to the network. I hope we're okay. I'm fine. Hey, let's get serious for a second. The Edmonton Oilers are on the cusp of NHL.com's top 5. Have they, Gregor, turned the corner? Are they for real?
You know what? I think the Oilers are for real. They obviously had a bad start, but the Oilers were a good team last year, and I think that the 4-game collapse against Chicago in the playoffs is really what everybody remembered, and that's what they focused on. And there's no doubt that the Oilers soiled the sheets in those 4 games, Rod. But if you look in the 71-game regular season, they were a good team. And, they still had warts, don't get me wrong. They're not a cup contender, I don't think, just yet. But they're trending in the right direction. It helps when you don't have to run one goalie into the ground like they did with Mikko Koskinen. He's not good enough to play without practice time. It's not that he couldn't handle the game load. It's not the rest or fatigue. It's the lack of practice time that cost him. And so Mike Smith comes in, and Mike Smith's been even better than I expected, to be honest. I don't think he's going to carry a .935 save percentage all season long, but the Oilers are better there. They've got depth scoring. And when you have 2 of the top, whatever, you want to argue top 3, top 4, top 5 players in the game, you're going to have a chance most nights. And that's what the Oilers have. And I think that the big thing this year has been the emergence of Darnell Nurse on the back end. You need a legit top pair defenseman. And right now, he's not a number 1 defenseman because he hasn't done it long term, but he's playing like a number 1 defenseman so far this season.
The viewers are asking if the Oilers have the goaltending, which you kind of just addressed there, and other than that, the blue line. And that would be a good question to be a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. And I'll be honest, Gregor, they finished number 1 most points in Canada last year. They're in second place in this Scotia North Division now. I would say, why not be a Stanley Cup contender? But how about that blue line? And by the way, where's Ethan Bear? What's the deal on our favorite son from Ochapaway, Saskatchewan?
Ethan Bear, it looked like he was going to play last week. Then he had a setback. I'm not sure if you've seen the highlight, Rob, but he was sitting on the bench and a puck hit him square in the side of the head. And he's had a concussion since then. But he was back skating. He took some extra time again after the morning skate on Tuesday. They'll skate a little bit later today, and I think he's going to be a game-time decision. Obviously, concussions after the setback last week, I think they'll probably be a little bit more cautious, but he's very close. He could play tonight, and you know what? You probably want to slide him back in against Vancouver first game to get some, just a little bit more comfortable rather than when you play the 3-game set starting on Saturday against the Leafs. But Bear will come in, obviously he'll help the blue line, but Tyson Barrie and Darnell Nurse have been good. Adam Larson's really picked up his game. I think the Oilers' defense is good enough because the emergence of Nurse. It's not great, but when I look in their division, I think Montreal probably has the best 1 to 5 defense core, but they got the worst forwards core, right? And Carey Price isn't playing very well. So, I look at Toronto's defense. Do I think Toronto's defense is any better than Edmonton's? No. Calgary, no. Vancouver, definitely not. Winnipeg, no. So, to win 2 rounds, and once you're into the conference finals, whatever we're going to call them this year, then yeah, I guess you're a cup contender. So I think their defense is good enough for sure. It's emerged. Guys like William Lagesson has come in and just been a steady defensive defenseman, which is what they need, because the Oilers' biggest weakness for the last few years has been limiting goals against 5-on-5. And it looks like slowly they're starting to improve there, Rod. In their last 10 wins, they've only allowed 14 goals at 5-on-5. So, they've been at 2.18 for the last 3 years. To drop down to 1.4 is a pretty good one. Now, that's obviously not where they're at all year, but they're showing signs of finally figuring it out defensively.
I want to ask you some fun questions, but the viewers want to get all serious on us. For instance, Sean Dufour, WHL officiating, I think they call him advisor. Anyways, he's a dub ref. He says, any inside info on Klefbom?
Yeah, Klefbom is still in Sweden. He really wants to go see the doctor in Cleveland. And, he's kind of like a shoulder specialist. I think they're leaning towards surgery, but due to COVID and travel restrictions, he hasn't been there yet. And so until he goes and sees this doctor, we won't know. I'm guessing, you're looking at, June realistically, before maybe May, but probably June before he's going to go see him. And that's going to be the deciding factor here. He's got chronic arthritis in the shoulder. And the question he's going to have for the doctor is, if he has the surgery, does it make it any better? Right? Like, arthritis really isn't something like you can scrape it away, the doctors have told me, but it doesn't cure it. And that's the concern. Like, Klefbom was like, he talked very openly, I want to say a month ago, about how for him, like, and he doesn't have kids yet, but he'd like to be a father. Like, he wants to be able to be a dad and pick up your kids and wrestle with your son and, body slam them and, have a lot of fun stuff. And right now, his shoulder's in so much pain, he can't do that. So it's not just about playing hockey for Klefbom. It's more of a lifestyle for him and wanting to be able to live without pain. And that surgery, there's no guarantee it'll improve it. And so Klefbom, it's going to be fascinating to see what happens for the expansion draft, Rod, because the NHL still hasn't ruled yet. Klefbom might fall into the category of potential career-threatening injury. Then the Oilers wouldn't have to protect him, right? They couldn't be claimed. And so that would help them on the back end. But if they deem that he has to be protected, and then he goes and let's say he's going to have shoulder surgery, and that means he's probably not ready until December at the earliest again, and it might not fix it, I'm not sold the Oilers will protect him with the emergence of some other defensemen. So that, to me, is the most fascinating thing about Klefbom, is what happens at the expansion.
We've got a viewer in Toronto wants to talk about the Leafs and their decor and Jake Muzzin and Justin Hall. Back off with the Leafs. We'll get the Leafs. We're talking Oilers today. I'm already tired of them. They're insufferable, Gregor, and they haven't won anything yet.
I will say that, I really like Justin Hall as a defenseman. Like, he's one of those guys that until you watch him lots, he's really emerged. Plus, he's got great hockey hair, so that's a bonus. Yeah,
it looks a lot like DuPont that way. Here's the fun question I had for you. Are you an Oilers fan as an Edmonton guy, or doing talk for so long, has that whipped that out of you?
Yeah, I'd probably go with the latter, Rod. Like, it's... which has probably been good. Otherwise, it'd be go crazy, because I have a lot of my buddies who are Oilers fans, and the last 2 decades have sucked. No fan base has witnessed more losses in the NHL than the Oilers. Right? Like, I looked up the number since the start of the 2000s. That's 20 years. Oilers have played like 1,534 games, and they've won 655 of them. Like, ugh. So, no, thankfully, I'm not an Oilers fan. Like John Short, when I got taught, he said, "Hey, there's no cheering in the press box." And so, I root for the city, because if the hockey team's better, it's better for business. It's better for everybody around it. And that really hasn't been the case for a long time, except this team's different. Like, the Oilers were a good team last year, and then they completely did not play well against Chicago. But they'll learn from that, and they're better, and they're going to be better. They're a playoff team, and I think they're going to be a consistent team now for the next 4, 5, 6 seasons. Can they win a cup? No one can predict that. It's virtually impossible. Like, 2 years ago, Tampa Bay just steamrolled everybody in the regular season and then lost 4 straight to Columbus, because Victor Hedman got hurt at the wrong time of the year and the rest of the team didn't play well. So, you know what? You need a little bit of luck to win a Stanley Cup, but I think Edmonton is finally trending to a position where you can say they should be a team that should be at least able to win 1 playoff round a year. And then after that, you need a little bit of luck.
By the way, Ricardo says it was just in a response to something you'd said. I won't say any more. Ricardo says, we're just having fun with you. I'm just saying the Leafs fans, just wait. If they actually win this thing, Gregor, I hope it's another 54 years before they win again. Viewer questions from Phil in Saskatoon. How about some love for Puljujarvi? And do you like his game right now? He seems like he has a bit more bite in his game. And I also like the emergence of Cahoon. Let's start just with Puljujarvi. He looks what they drafted. They're getting what they wanted.
Hey, Rod, he's the poster boy. I wrote an article 3 weeks after he's drafted, and it said patience. I didn't think he should have come over at 18. He wasn't ready at 19. Then at 20, he ended up having the bone spurs in his hip, so that kind of derailed his season. But by then, the guy had been beaten down. He had zero confidence. Now, he wasn't mature enough as an 18-year-old. He didn't take understanding the language important enough, so that's on him. But he shouldn't have been rushed to the NHL. It was a debacle from the get-go. The only guy at the time who really seemed to have any common sense in the organization was Todd McClellan, because he knew the kid wasn't ready. He tried to send him to the minors, and then they'd recall him all the time. And it was a waste. And people mocked me when I said he should go to Finland for a year because he needs to regain confidence. If you don't have confidence, I don't care how talented you are, you can't play. Puljujarvi's come back. He's a big, strong man. He's filled out his frame now. But, his English is 10 times better. He communicates with his teammates. He's brought his girlfriend. He's got a dog, so he's way happier off of the ice. But on the ice, like Puljujarvi's probably been their best puck retriever all season long. Like, he's a big body, 6'4". He can skate. He's in on the forecheck. He's pissing off the opponent sometimes. We saw it with Roussel the other day. Like, Puljujarvi, who's not a dirty player, but he skates into the contact, hammers Roussel kind of in the head, not even on purpose, and Roussel snaps. And, Puljujarvi, as Dave Tippett said, he's got to learn to protect himself a little bit better, but Puljujarvi's been fantastic. He is what I said he would be 5 years ago. Most European guys, Rod, you're looking 21, 22 years of age, especially guys who never played in North America. So this should be a great learning tool for everybody. Stop rushing guys thinking that because Connor McDavid and a few others can play at 18 or 19, that others can. It's asinine, and the NHL still does it. It blows my mind.
I was just going to say, they're all rushing them. I don't know why. Then it goes into junior. It filters all the way down, as you know, Gregor. Isn't it fun bringing in the viewers like this? I'm not sure if you do it as much with your show, but they want to know your thoughts on the Oilers' reverse retros. I got to be honest, I thought somebody puked on my TV screen the other night between the Canucks, theirs. Yeah, it was just Technicolor, too wild for me.
I'll say, I like the Oilers retros. They're actually only scheduled to wear them 3 times. What the hell's the point of that? Like, that's a terrible decision. So tonight technically should be the last time. Now, I know the Oilers have contacted Lee because their fans, for the most part, love them. Most fans like their retro jerseys better than the dark blue with the thin orange numbers that they're wearing as their regular home jersey this year. That jersey, I don't really like at all. Right? And here's the thing: we can call retro jerseys. How many jerseys do you have? I actually really like the orange pants. But in practice, they have a gray jersey that they wear with the orange pants. It actually looks a little bit better than the bright white, but obviously gray's never been a color of the Oilers, so they wouldn't do it. But I'm traditional. Just go back to the blue with the bright orange. That's the best Oilers jersey. There's no doubt in my mind that's the best one. That's the one they should use. This new kind of mid-blue orange, I don't like that one at all. But I do like the retro one. I wouldn't wear it every night, but I'd wear it probably at least another 5 times.
It's a matter of opinion, obviously. I'm with you, McSorley, Kevin McClellan, Wayne Mess. That, if you could replicate that, do it. But I got an orange Oiler jersey that I put 99 Gretzky on, and I've been nothing but abused by people going, you can't cross eras. Shut up. I'll wear whatever I want to wear. It's unique. I like it. But, hey, in the time we have left, I think you would like to talk more CFL if you could on the Jason Gregor Show on TSN 1260. Can you please, in the time we have left, tell me your take on if they are coming back or not, just what you think and what you know?
And I love the CFL, and it sucks not having it last year. I wish they had a little bit better direction, if I'm being honest. I don't think they've done a great job. Just be honest and forthcoming. And I don't think there's been enough of that just yet. So I would like to think, if you go back to last summer we were able to do a lot of activities outside, a lot more close to normal than we have been in the wintertime. So, if you could look at CFLC and say, hey, you're allowed a certain percentage of fans in each building, and if that gets you up to 15,000, well, in some of the CFL buildings, that's a really good average. Obviously, Saskatchewan and Edmonton have averaged way more than that. But even if it's only 20,000 in Edmonton because the stadium's so big, that would still be fine. I think they need to play. My hunch is we'll see a CFL season, but it won't be a full 18-game season. I think it's going to be, maybe 9, 12 games. I think it's starting closer in the fall. And that's me thinking positively for them. Hopefully the Double E actually have a team name by then. How long can you drag out a team name? My goodness. Give me a break. We all know the Eclipse sucks. We know the Evergreens is terrible. Just get down to the Elkhounds or the Elk and move on. And let's go. That's my biggest beef here, is that the Double E has been dragging out this name for I don't know how long, and it's ridiculous. It looks minor league to me. Just settle with the name and let's move on. Elkhounds is probably the best name. For being realistic, it's unique. You can have a great mascot with it and move on. Plus, no one else has it.
My guess is you're still an Eskimo guy, though. If you had your way, it would be Eskimos, correct? Or no?
Oh, if I'm picking, you mean a team to cheer for?
No. A name. I would prefer. Yeah.
That's obviously it's a tough subject, Rob, because you do a lot of research, and hey, some people are offended by it, so I can respect that, right? But I also see some Inuit people who aren't offended by it. So, if you could argue that they could go with Eclipse and just call themselves the Esks and be SC, SK if you wanted to do stuff like that. I'll be honest, I'm kind of past the point of caring. If they're not going to be called the Eskimos, like I was never like, oh my goodness, like that's the name. Like it's a name. Like people didn't like the Red Blacks when they first came out, and now people are like, the Red Blacks, it's all right, you don't mind it. So I don't get too hung up on a name so much, but I get hung up on the process of it. So they made a decision, they changed it. Okay, I don't have to agree with it all the time, but I can live with it. I can respect how some people feel that maybe it's offensive to them. Okay, I wish we would have had more conversations about why is it offensive to you, and because it offends 10% of people, do we have to change for them? That's probably a debate for another show. But the thing that actually offends me more, Rod, is that was over 6 months ago. Like, what the hell are you doing? Here we are, it's the end of February, and you still don't have your name. So just come up with a moniker, have courage and convictions, and move forward with it.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Gregor, always fun, as you know. Thanks, my man. Enjoy the game tonight. Let's do it again soon.
Hey, Roddy, love it. I might have to watch Slapshot later on. Who owns the Chiefs?
Owns. Thanks, Jason. Jason Gregor, TSN 1260 Edmonton with us from the City of Champions.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.